Have you ever felt a little adrift? Kind of like you're trying to navigate your life, but you're not totally sure where you're headed? Well, if that sounds familiar, this is for you. We're going to break down best-selling author Robert Greene's incredible process for finding your own unique path in life.
You know that feeling, right? You wake up and it's like, which way do I go? There are a million different paths, a million different options, and honestly, it could feel completely overwhelming. And look, if you feel that way, you are definitely not alone. We live in a world that is just screaming for our attention from every direction. So trying to find a clear purpose in all of that, it's a huge challenge.
Robert Greene has a perfect name for this. He calls it the noise. And it's exactly what it sounds like. All those external voices and pressures that just drown out what you actually think and feel. You know, it's society telling you what job to get, it's what your parents always hope for you, what all your friends seem to be doing, and of course there's the real need for money and that constant buzz from social media and the internet telling you what you should want. It's a lot.
So how in the world do you cut through all that static? Well, Greene says the answer is actually to look inward, to embrace just how unique you are. I mean, think about this quote. Your DNA, your life experiences, that exact combination has never existed before and will never exist again. Now, according to Greene, that's not just some feel-good idea. It's the true source of your power. The signal we're trying to tune into is what Greene calls our primal inclination. To find it, you have to go way back. Think about when you were a little kid, before all that noise started creeping in. It's that gut-level, natural pull you had towards certain things. And it's so powerful because it wasn't just a random hobby. It was a clue to how your brain is wired, what you connect with effortlessly and with real joy. And these inclinations, they often show up really early and are super intense. You know, for young Albert Einstein, it wasn't about a textbook. It was being totally mesmerized by the invisible magic moving a compass needle. Steve Jobs was just hypnotized by the beautiful design of electronics he saw in a store window. A tiny Tiger Woods felt this pure, uncomplicated joy just watching his dad hit golf balls. You see, these aren't just little kid hobbies. They are deep, visceral clues about who we really are. The thing is, as we get older, that signal gets weaker. It gets buried under layers and layers of noise. So the big question, the really critical question is, how do we tune back in to that original frequency? How do we dig that signal back up? Well, Greene's solution is a process he calls inner archaeology. And that metaphor is just perfect, isn't it? You literally have to become an archaeologist of your own life. You have to be willing to dig into your past to find those little artifacts, those clues that are going to point you towards your future. So the process starts with reflection. You really have to think back to when you were a kid. What were you doing when time just seemed to vanish? Step 2 is to identify the common threads. What was it about those things that pulled you in? Was it solving puzzles, building things, understanding people? And then step 3 is to follow that direction. Now, this isn't about finding a perfect job title tomorrow. It's about using these discoveries as an inner compass to start guiding you. And get this, following that compass has this incredible side effect. When you're emotionally engaged in what you're doing, when it truly aligns with that primal inclination, your brain learns up to 4 times faster. You're not just pushing harder, you're learning smarter because you're running on genuine passion. It puts mastery on the fast track. Once you really lock onto this purpose, it's like you suddenly have an internal radar. It helps you slice right through all that noise we were talking about. When a new job offer or a new distraction comes along, you just check it against your radar. Does this get me closer to my purpose, or is it just more noise? It makes making big life decisions so much simpler. This also completely reframes our whole idea of power. So often, we think of power as, dominating other people or manipulating them. But for Greene, real power is about self-control. It's having the influence to move towards your own goals and the ability to defend yourself from the world's pressures, not to exploit anyone else. Finding your purpose gives you that real, authentic, internal kind of power.
So, you do all this inner work. What's the ultimate prize? It's not just about a good career or making money. Greene says it leads to something way deeper, an experience he calls the real sublime.
Okay, so first, what even is the sublime? Well, it's any experience that lifts you above the mundane, the day-to-day grind. It's that powerful feeling of being connected to something much bigger than your own little ego. And as humans, we are all wired to chase that feeling.
But and this is a critical distinction. Greene says there are 2 kinds. On one side, you've got the false sublime. This comes from external things, right? like drugs or the temporary high you get from online outrage or other addictions. It gives you a quick escape, but it's empty, and it never lasts. On the other side, you have the real sublime, and that comes from within. It's that deep, lasting fulfillment you get from meaningful work, from a peak experience that you earned, from a genuine connection to your purpose.
And ultimately, that's the whole point. Living a life that's truly aligned with who you are is the most direct, most reliable path to experiencing the real sublime. That feeling of deep satisfaction, of being completely in the zone and connected to what you're doing, that is the ultimate reward.
So, all of this brings us right back to you. After everything we've talked about, the most important question isn't what the world wants from you or what you think you're supposed to be doing. It's about getting quiet enough to hear that signal that's been there all along. What is your inner compass pointing towards?